Hey y'all, it's Lady V from Urban Herbals, and it is our second herb of the month. And I know it's really late in the month, but hey, I'm a mom and a professor, so like, what can I say? This month, I decided to do something a little different. A few years ago, I was gifted a beautiful herbal deck called the Herbal Healing Deck. Amazing. And yeah, so this book is not only wonderful as an herbal healing, as a deck, like for divination, but it's also just a great herbal book. You learn a lot about herbs by working with these cards and seasons, and I love this book so much. So I went through those cards, and the herb that I picked, or that came up for us this month, is boom, Calendula. Calendula officinalis, I don't know. I can be kind of terrible with botanical pronunciations, but hey, it's known by lots of common names like Pot's Marigold, or Summer's Bride, or Poet's Marigold, or Shining Herb, or Bride of the Sun. And so oftentimes when it's called that name, Marigold, it's easy to get it confused with marigolds like that we grow with tomatoes. And that is because they're probably in the same family or have similarities, but calendula has a much smaller flower than a marigold flower. It has like a tiny seed pod in the middle, and the petals are long and skinny, whereas with the marigold, it's like a fluffy flower that has that's bigger and more round in its appearance, and those are not edible, whereas calendula blossoms are edible. It's really easy to grow from seed. It will survive through the first frost, and it grows all year long. One of the reasons that it got its name, calendula, comes from the Latin word calens. So it was named because of its to bloom at the new moon, or at the first day of every month. And one of my favorite things about herbs, which we all know, is that I love herbs because they've been around since the beginning of time, and there's so much history and knowledge passed down to us through the first writings, through the first conversations between herbalists, and calendula was in those early conversations. It's been used since the 12th century internally to treat fevers, stomach upsets, ulcers, and as we know, it's wonderful externally for all types of skin conditions, irritations. And in traditional Chinese medicine, it's used in mouthwash, sometimes mixed with like tea tree oil and other oils to help with gingivitis and bleeding gums. So it's wonderful in Chinese medicine for that. It's used as a poultice to be applied to sprains, bruises. After surgery, it can help with slow healing wounds, and I think it's even used in hospitals medically in Germany, which is sort of ahead of many other countries in its use of herbal medicine. Yeah, so it's wonderful to just sort of nourish the body. What it does internally and externally is nourish those mucous membranes. And one of my favorite herbalists even quotes this herb as spleen position. So what does our spleen do? So sometimes, like people who get a reoccurring cold every year, or a person who constantly gets sick around the same time, that's because of the action of the spleen. And so the bacteria from that cold or that condition could be lying dormant on the spleen. So taking calendula can help to clean that area, remove that bacteria off of the spleen, the same way it removes bacteria away from wounds. And it's known to help stagnant lymphatic systems. So people that you know who have a sluggish lymphatic system that is delaying their healing process, adding calendula to their regimen would be a wonderful, helpful way to assist their body in its natural healing process. Yeah, and the herb with the deck from the herbal healing deck, the message was to shine as an herb of the solar plexus, and under the astrological sign of Leo. This herb is calling for you to step into your purpose, step into your power, shine in what it is that you do best. Don't be afraid to speak up and put your voice out there and be heard, and let your talents and your gifts be known. It's kind of one of those herbs that can, that message of be lifted up, shine, be bright, be who you are, whatever that looks like, and let who you are speak for you, and propel you forward. Yeah, so it's a great herb, a flower. I grow it now, and like I said, it can grow, throughout all of the seasons. Yeah, what ways that you can use calendula in a poultice, a tea, a tincture, a salve. I loved using calendula when I was breastfeeding my son, and my nipples would get sore, and of course I would wash it off my nipples after I felt better, or right before I would breastfeed, because calendula has a really bitter, terrible taste. But hey, I mean, it doesn't, not all herbs are supposed to taste good. So, try it. I don't know, you might like it. It's great for boosting the immune system. So yeah, lots of wonderful good things about this herb. It's a gentler herb for the body. It's something that I wouldn't necessarily say taking over long periods of time. You want to use it specifically when you need it, and then give it a rest. So yeah, I'm always available, open for individual conversations about herbs, growing herbs, learning herbs, anything like that. Yeah, and so that's our herb of the month. I'm looking forward to February. I wonder what herb we're going to get. And yeah, thanks for watching.
No slinging dope and no gunfights. I'm getting high off cosmic energy and pure sunlight. I'm usually not approachable, but I'm negotiable when it comes to going half on something sociable.